trying to use the laptop to see whether Instagram is actually going to work with this or not. So we'll see how it all goes. So first of all, I know that everyone's talking about Storm Darragh. It's really poignant actually because I've just seen on Facebook that the Owl Rescue Sanctuary that I'm supporting with my my artwork, they're flooded yet again. There's fences down and all sorts of things, and there's volunteers there helping to try and clear up and make sure that the owls are okay. But yeah, they really could do with a bit of extra money to support to help sort things out. Every time we get a storm, they seem to get struck with it. So, so on that note, a slightly brighter way of helping is that I have created a number of pieces of artwork that are available for sale. And I know I've shown you them before, but I'm just going to show you them again. So each piece is a watercolour or a mixed media. And this is the first one, and it's called The Silent Messenger. It features a beautiful barn owl with text and messages, and it's backed with a grey board on the back, lovely white mount and cellophane wrapped. So they do make absolutely perfect gifts, and they are A3 in size. Each one is A3 in size, and that means that it's really easy for you to buy a frame. And this one is Hedwig's Message. I think that's still my favourite. I'm not sure. I like them all. This one is called The First Snowdrops. There's loads more detail on all my social platforms. On Facebook is really where I'm showing these and giving the story. But if you'd like to join in and receive more information about them, then you can subscribe to my newsletter. I'll add the links at the end if I can. There's probably a way you can add links to the live, but I've not found it yet. So, and you can subscribe at www.clairevalentineart.com/magic circle, and that will take you to my subscription page. This one is Barn Owl and Poppies, and I think I may have a buyer for this one in Austria, hopefully. And I can't show you the other one because it's already sold. It's called the Night Watch Owl. So I literally put it out to my Magic Circle subscribers, and that very night someone bought it. So yay, that's really exciting. Right, let's get to the practical side of things. So today is a 3D day. I know you see a lot of me doing my paintings, but you don't ever see me make my magical sculptural frames. Maybe I'll just fetch an example and show you what I mean by that. So this one, this is one of my sculptural frames, and I embellish it with 3D structures. So very much like Harry Potter, a moving portrait. And because they're 3D, they're just really, really special, and they set off a painting. They make a painting come alive. So what I'm planning to do is, I've got my basic frame ready here. This is a basic frame, and this one is going to be embellished with owls because I want to call it the Aelops Owlery, like in Harry Potter. You know where they all go to buy the owls. I think that'll be a good name for it. I'm not sure yet. But I want to create this scene. So imagine this scene where you've got a little window at the top of Harry Potter's castle, and the sunlight rays coming through this little window, and then all of the owls will be perched in different levels and different perspectives going back into the room. And then on the front, I'll be using found materials, which I collect usually after a storm, when lots of bits and things blow off trees, and I go and harvest them, and I'll be adding little perches and things to really, really make this piece come alive. So today I'm going to be working on the 3D owls. So I want to include all different types of owl, because in Harry Potter they have the barn owl, they have Hedwig the snowy owl. There is, I'm sure there's a screech owl. I hear them talk about. They talk about brown owls. I don't actually think that that's really a type of owl. I think tawny is perhaps more appropriate. And I'm sure that there's others. Maybe this. I think this is a grey owl, great grey owl. Look at those eyes. Ooh, are they magical? I just love owls. I love them so much. Owls, to me, owls and cats have got the same eyes. They like stare at you, penetrating. So there's the snowy. So I'll be doing a snowy. Barn owl. I'll be using the barn owl. Another picture of a barn owl. This is the one that I used in my reference for my painting behind me there. So I've got my reference photographs ready, and I'm going to show you the materials that I'm using. So I'm going to use, to make the owls, this air drying modelling clay. And let's see. I need to get it open. So it's made by Fimo, and this is my favourite one out of all of the air drying clays that I use, because it's nice and easy to mould and it's very smooth. So excuse the rustling whilst I just open the pack a little bit more. And select myself a wodge. And I've got some water here ready to dip my fingers. So the first thing I do is I think I might make the snowy owl first. Just find my picture of the snowy owl. Yeah. So it's such an enjoyable thing to do, this is. So I'm looking at the picture of the owl, and it's kind of with a sculpture, you feel your way around the shape. You don't really look at what you're doing quite so much. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I love making owls. They're actually quite easy to make. They're just a nice, easy shape, really, to make. So one of the tools that I use as a sculptor is my fingernails. So I can never, ever, ever be one of those ladies that has their nails painted beautifully. I do think that they look absolutely gorgeous, but to me, a fingernail is a tool for sculpture, and that's as far as I go. So I'm going to pull down the clay now into the shape of the back of the owl. You really don't need a lot, because once the clay is hard, then I actually embellish. I like that word, embellish. Add details to the owl using real feathers, so feathers that I might have again collected on I go out for runs in the countryside, and what I see I think might be useful, like feathers, stones, wood, conkers, acorns, everything like that. So I've just made like a very basic. It's really just a blob, but it has, to me, I can see the shape of the owl. So just prop up my picture a bit there. So I need to shape the head a little bit across the top, and make sure that I've got the head and the body in proportion, which I've not quite got. slightly rounder on top. The good thing about the clay is that once you've finished, you can actually sand. So that's my main blob. I can't think of a better term really than a blob. That's what it is. So I'm just getting some more clay, and now I'm going to build out the back, the wing shapes. So I'm squashing the clay into a nice flat piece that I'm going to press onto the body. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be there, because I am going to add feathers on top. So again, consulting my picture. So this is what I'm doing. Got my picture here, and I'm looking at the shape, and then I'm fitting the wing on to the owl. Take it over the back and down the side, maybe slightly further over the back. Okay, and then I'm using my nail to smooth the clay and blend it in. Okay, so now I want to do the same again for the other wing. So I'm creating a flat piece that's a rough wing shape. It might look really jagged and just like nothing at all to you, but I can see the finished piece. I can see the 3D piece. That's the skill of an artist, to look at something and create something out of effectively nothing, I suppose, is like the ultimate manifestation ability. So now that wing's too big, so I need to take away some of that clay, which I will use for the tail. Oh, it keeps coming in gusts and swirling around the house, and I just don't like storms at all. I like thunderstorms, but I don't like windstorms. When I was a child, this will give a hint of my age. Well, I'll tell you, I'm 47. When I was a child, there was a programme called QED. Those in England, similar age to me, may well remember it. And I remember my father used to love watching QED. And there was always the QED test man who, poor chap, had to go out and do all of these terrible things and get stuck. And yeah, so I think he quite liked the QED test man part. But they did this. One of the programs once was about storms and hurricanes, and it showed the different levels of the different strengths of wind. And it's where I learned the Beaufort scale, which is well, you probably know what the Beaufort scale is, but I'm a scientist, so I like to know these things. The different strengths of the wind, and the Beaufort scale tells you how strong that wind is going to be. And they showed sort of videos of the wind getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and they showed the aftermath of sort of 70, 80 mile an hour winds, and then up to hurricanes, and it had blown down walls. And when you're like, I was probably seven, maybe 8, and when you're that age, and you've seen that, it sort of lodges in your brain as, oh my gosh, that's like really, really destructive and really powerful, and I'm really frightened. And then we had these terrible winds. I think it was about the time when the big storms of the late 80s or early 90s, something like that. and we lost lots of lovely trees, unfortunately. And I was walking home from school, and the wind was getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and I was battling. Really couldn't walk. I mean, I was only sort of 7 or 8, and I was really struggling to battle through the wind. And I was really scared. And as soon as I got home, the garage door was open, and I was able to walk straight into the garage. And the relief was amazing to get out of that wind. And I didn't sleep properly until that storm had gone. And ever since then, I've always been a bit nervous about like really windy weather. I suppose now not so much about being out in it, because I did actually go for a run this morning in it, but about the damage and the destruction, not just to people's properties and the dangers that brings for people, but also for I worry about how many trees we're going to lose. As you can see on my wall that way behind me, I love painting trees. I love trees, and I love ancient trees, and I just worry how many. I'm looking out the window now because I've got lots of trees outside my studio, and I worry how many we might lose. So hopefully not too many. Right now, with that little digression of chat, I can show you where we're up to on the snowy owl. So this is the shape so far. Get my fingers out of the way so you can see. Oops. Very basic. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use dip my finger in a little bit of water, just a tiny amount, and now I'm smoothing out the clay. So I'm picking up the clay film and filling in the cracks and the gaps using the slip from the clay. So pottery makers use slip, which is basically a watered down clay, and they use the slip to stick things together and to create adherence. And I do the same here. This is why I love this particular clay, because it really does make a nice, smooth and pliable slip. So it's just about blending, taking out the dings and the knocks where my fingernails have been in, smoothing things over, ready for the final piece of work. And the final piece of work will be another little secret that I'll reveal about tools that I use. I do have conventional sculpture tools, but I also have some non-conventional ones as well that I've just discovered through the years work quite well. So I'm just blending here, and it's actually harder to show you. Maybe I could get a camera that looks above. Perhaps I'll do that next time for the 3D. Just want to get those cracks out of the tail feathers. Right, so I'm ready now to build just a little bit of detail. Not too much, because I can do a lot of it with paint. But at the minute, the head is the wrong shape. So I want to pull down the clay and flatten off. I'm flattening off the top of the head here, because the snowy owl's head is sort of wider. And then I need to make the eye socket, so I'm going to put my fingers where the eyes will be and just push just ever so gently into where the eye sockets will be. And then sculpt them out. Ah, that's better, that's better. Need to push the clay a little bit that way. Right, so I want the eyes, try and show you this way around. I want the eyes roughly there. So I'm just pushing my fingers in to make some sockets. Just very, very basic. Doesn't need to be a lot. Now I actually want to just bring out that base a little bit. I wonder how birds fly in this kind of weather. It must be really difficult. Just some weird random things I think to think about when I'm making artwork. Right, now I'm going to dip into my little tub of sculpture tools. I'm looking for a particular one. This one. It's got a curved end on one end and it's got a sharp knife type thing on the other end, and it's quite good for starting to fetch out the detail. Yeah, I think definitely when I do another 3D, I will have to film it from above so you can see a bit more what I'm actually doing with my hands. Okay, I'm going to use a bit more water. So I'm just getting the shape right. So you'll perch like that. So where's my bits of wood? So I'll have a piece of wood here, and then I'll be sitting my owl on a branch, a little bit like that. Okay, so can you visualise it sort of coming together a little bit? And that's my first owl. So that's how I make owls. So I use the same technique to do all the different types of owl. So I'm going to work on the barn owl next, but I won't show you all of that. Next time I do it, I'll video from the top so you can see it. So just going to wrap up now because that's just a little, get a bit covered in clay here. I probably won't be able to actually disconnect anything on the laptop now because my fingers are all messy, but anyway. So please, if you can, the Owl Experience Rescue Sanctuary in Stafford, if you can help in any way, even if it's go to their Ko-fi page, just send a little donation, that would really help. But if you think well, actually, I would quite like a piece of artwork because I can give it as a Christmas present. Then visit any part of my pages. I mean, this is going out to Facebook, so you'll see it on Claire Valentine Art. My name's Claire Valentine Gibson, and you can find my profile and you'll see it all there as well. It's on all the social media platforms, but come to me direct, message me from this video, get in touch in any way, and I can sort out the postage out to you, which will be free in the UK for all of the original art pieces. So please do go and have a look and help in any way if you can. And tune in again soon to see more owls made in clay. I can't wait to bring this piece together. I'm so excited about this piece. So have a lovely Saturday and take care of yourselves and watch out for the storm. I'm going to try and end this now.